So I wonder how long it's going to be till we see the other Boxmart bots. I want my Shannon already. Hey everyone, welcome to Prince of the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to OKKO Let's Be Heroes, Season 3, Episodes 3 through 5. That's right, we're upping it to 3 episodes this week, rather than just 2. I feel like we can do 3. I feel like that's not a big deal. 3 through 5 should be absolutely doable this week. And honestly, I could use... I could use just some good fun with this. It's one of those shows that's just like silly and goofy and just fun. And sometimes that's what you need. When things got you down, when things are kind of leaving you with a bit of a headache, kind of literally, you need to just sit back, relax, and enjoy something a lot more lighthearted. And this series, I think, is just really good for that. Even if not every episode is a hit, even if not every episode is that good, I think just overall, the vibes of it will be. As long as we don't get any heavy stuff. Because this show does sometimes bring in heavy stuff. As long as we don't get any of that. But we shouldn't this early in the season, I feel. So we should be good. That being said, we're just going to get right into this and hope for the best. See what these 3 episodes give to us. So let us get this going. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And we have gaming content over on the Secondary Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every day, Horizon Forbidden West every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have Beyond Two Souls on Wednesday and Sunday, and Poppy Playtime on Saturday. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to follow it to today's reaction. We redirect due to copyright. It's just what we got to do here on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's get to today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this was another really good set. I really liked the kind of messages of each of these episodes. And there's definitely some setups for the future, as well as some, not really conclusions, but payoffs, I guess is a better word, from things that came from the past. So to go in order, first we have TKO rules, and this is the one that I think is going to have the biggest effect on the future. So TKO rules, we have KO, being a mama's boy, which comes into play later as well, but he's just doing what his mom says, and he's allowed to be left home alone. While he's home alone, he decides to go check on TKO. He naively lets TKO out and lets him take over his body, which leads to him doing some crazy stuff, just breaking all the rules. So KO switches back with him, forces the switch back, cleans everything up. And the most important part of this episode is the part at the end. KO traps TKO in his subconscious. And from a character's perspective, from the perspective of KO having done this, I think he was wrong to do so. I think that this is a massive mistake and will lead to maybe the finale of this season, which would probably be the series as a whole, and cause a lot of problems. This is going to be a major issue. Locking TKO down in subconscious is going to cause TKO to resent and hate him more, especially after they supposedly had already, bonded and formed a connection and become, on good terms. So TKO is going to take this very personally, and at some point, he's probably going to break out. He's going to break out and not only take over, but possibly even throw KO into the subconscious, taking over semi permanently. And it's going to be a major thing. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but that's definitely going to factor into things. But the kind of message of this episode was, that rules can be there for a reason, and that it's not about whether they feel fair or not. It's about like what they actually do to help you, especially as a kid growing up. And there are unfair rules though. There are rules that some parents make that are completely genuinely unfair and unjust. There are things that parents do that are wrong as well. Parents are not perfect. And like kids shouldn't just have this idea that their parents can do no wrong and that their parents are automatically right just because they're the adults and they're supposed to love them. Because not all parents do genuinely love their children. They should, but they don't. And some parents, take out a lot of anger on their children. Some abuse their children. And of course, we know that's not the case with Carol. Carol is an absolutely wonderful mom and just amazing person. We love Carol. But I'm just saying. And even Carol admitted the entire cookie thing, like the one cookie a day thing, was entirely arbitrary. They like there's no genuine necessary reason or anything behind that. It's an arbitrary rule. And that kind of thing always has been. But the fact is TKO didn't see it that way. And he almost got KO into not seeing it that way. So it's really interesting the kinds of nuances and depths and whatnot you can look at with such a simple idealistic message like this. But we do need to talk about the other ones here, so let's move on. After that, we had Chip's damage. So this one involves point and chip damage and Elodie. And this one felt like a good final resolution to kind of a lot of this stuff with point. Because chip damage was a major part of that. And again, being kind of like the hero's hero at the beginning. Being revealed to be, an evil robot. It's like, yeah, a major problem. And shit was kind of fucked. So Elodie being revealed to have also grown up as a chip damage fangirl and wanting to restore him to that height of fame and heroicism. I liked seeing that. It made a lot of sense. It just honestly fits. And on top of that, you have just the desire as the new head of point to fix things, to make things right in that regard. And KO was absolutely the right person to ask for help there. And their plan, their idea wasn't bad. It's just the execution of it. And of course, we have a message with this one too, with the idea of like not needing to force yourself to have someone to look up to, that you can find the path to doing the right thing on your own and even encourage those close to you. and get encouraged by those close to you. You don't need like some larger than life hero to inspire you when we just normal people can inspire each other. And I like this message too. All the messages in this were great and well executed, and it just feels like a natural progression of things from previous seasons. So I really like how this was done, and I like how in the end Chip, like with 100% free will, just basically like, you know what? I realize I've been an evil robot. I'm going to blow myself up now. There's like a dark level of humor to that, that it's like, Jesus. Because let's be honest here. Chip basically committed suicide. Chip basically, like, looked at himself in the mirror and it's like, oh, I'm the bad guy, and committed suicide in front of a live crowd. Like, that's pretty dark. It was so wild when you think about it. But yeah, it's still really interesting. Excuse me. Um, Pretty neat to see, and gives us a good message nonetheless. And so, following that, we have we have what I think is my favorite of these three. I think it's the most fun, it's the most interesting, and sets up some stuff for the future, just like the first one did. But for reasons that I'm more interested in. Like, it's not that I'm not interested in the TKO stuff, I absolutely am. But this is like something that it's like, we know the truth. We know that one, Shadowy Figure and Professor Venomous are the same person. It's like, it's not even subtle about that. We know, too, that Professor Venomous, Shadowy Figure are also KO's father, and are absolutely the one from the flashbacks who died, disappeared, whatever they exactly said it was back then. I can't remember his actual name from back then. It was like Laser Blast or something like that, but I'm not sure if that's like entirely accurate. But we absolutely know they're all the same person. It's so blatantly obvious. It's so blatantly obvious. And I mean, this episode, let's be honest, kind of confirmed that he's a shadowy figure with his with how he was feeling after, sneaking around and being creepy and weird and everything. Um, but yeah, it's like this episode also paints a very clear connection between KO and Fink. So Fink comes to the bodega to cause mischief because she's mischievous. And while there, she ends up convincing KO that he's a mama's boy, which he is. And she makes him feel like it's a bad thing to be a mama's boy. So he ends up having these kind of inner discussions with himself that leads into him having kind of unknowing discussions with Shadowy Figure. And Shadowy Figure the entire time is like either beat up the bully or like just bring the Glorbs down to me. Please bring me the Glorbs and stuff. And it's like, what even, my dude? But like KO never actually falls for it. Like the second time, it's like when he's in the storm drain and everything. KO's like, man, my inner dialogue just kind of sucks today. Let's have an outer dialogue and just ask my friends. And it's like, wow, that backfired spectacularly. I almost feel bad for Venomous with how just insanely bad that plan went for him. But Enid and Rad encourage KO and tell him that it's not only okay to be a mama's boy, but it's actually kind of a compliment when your mom is as freaking cool as Carol is. Which it's like, yeah, honestly, fair. Um, and they help him, of course, take out Fink and everything. But again, the most interesting part comes at the end. Because we see back at the lab, back at Boxmore, we see that Fink tries to get, like, Professor Venomous, who is effectively her father, to make a cupcake for her, or even with her, and everything, clearly showing that she wants that kind of connection to her parent, that she wants to have that loving relationship as well, because she's not getting that. And I love how it shows Daryl and Shannon, like, kind of there for her, because they fucking get it with their father, with Boxman. It's like they very much understand that feeling of just wanting to be loved. So I think that's just really kind of like really good visual storytelling, because they didn't say anything. Shannon and Daryl did not have a single word of dialogue in this, but them just being there and the way they're looking at Fink says everything. And I think that's actually really, really good. Like, they just really nailed that visual storytelling out of the park. But also seeing, like, how upset Fink got, like how genuinely, like, sad she got when Professor Venomous rebuked her. Like, this is absolutely a child who just wants love from her parent. She just wants to feel like she matters. And kids go through this way too often in real life. Parents who are neglectful and, just don't properly care for their kids. It's unfortunately way too real and way too common. And it actually makes me feel really bad for her. It's like Fink is one of those characters who I haven't really, like, had a huge amount of thought toward. Like, I've honestly been pretty just on her, but this episode did a good amount for her character and allowed her to feel, like, more sympathetic. And, like, I was kind of making the joke while she was fighting KO and everything about, how they're kind of basically siblings. But it's like, I wonder if that dynamic could help her. And honestly, in some ways, help KO. What if they actually do something with that? Because I would be all game for it. I would be all game for it. Of course, they have to officially reveal that Professor Venomous is his father, too. That still needs to actually happen. Because at least I don't think that has happened yet. um. So yeah, that ended off on a surprisingly sad note, and made me care for Fink a lot more than I ever expected to. But yeah, I think that one is my favorite. One, Fink is just kind of like this chaotic gremlin, and I kind of just enjoy her energy. Um, Plus, Lara Jill Miller does a fantastic job with the performance. It's so different from other performances she's done, whether as Hikari in Digimon Adventure, whether as Libby in Ghost of Molly McGee, or any of her other roles. Even in Beastars. She's Haru, I think that's the name. The bunny girl in Beastars. It's a very different performance. And I really dig that, because it's like all of her other voices are very similar in just how she speaks, how she performs them. But this one is just so actively different, and I love the chaotic energy. I just really enjoy it. And I love that not only we got her in this set of episodes, but we also in the same set of episodes got Professor Grayman, or whatever his name was, who's voiced by Dana Snyder, who was Scratch in The Ghost of Molly McGee. So it's like almost kind of having like a little Ghost of Molly McGee voice reunion here. I mean, I know this came out beforehand, but just in terms of my reacting schedule. and it's like, I really love both of them, and all of the VAs from Ghost and Molly McGee. Actually, wait a minute. Isn't Ashley Birch in both too? Wait a minute. She's Enid, right? And she's also Molly, right? Hold on. She is Molly, right? Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, she's both of them. So there's that too. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking of, so wow, a lot of voice actors shared between these two shows. And hey, I love both of the shows, so that's just really cool to think about. I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, Ashley Birch is both Molly and Enid, and then you have Dana Snyder, and then you have Laura Jill Miller. It's like, that's awesome. That's just really cool. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed this set of episodes, and really excited to see where it goes next. But before we end this off, I do just want to note, how do I word this? I want to express something real quick regarding this, because I don't think I said this in the first video, so I want to express it here. Um, this is one of those shows that, just as a reminder, had a weird thing going on with the release order, because the actual order of the episodes was not the same as the way they were released on television, and it was this entire weird thing, and I don't know why that was done and everything. But the order I have this in appears to be the order that it was released in on television. So I just wanted to let you know that, and that's the order we're continuing in. The televised order is the order we're considering here, rather than the, I guess, in what would the word be? Not intended order. That's not quite what I'm thinking here. The there's a specific term I'm trying to think of. Um, oh my god, hold on. I think I have the Google still, or not Google, the Wikipedia still up. There's a word I'm thinking of here. The production order. That's it. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, because there's a production order, and then there's the release order. Because in the production order, for example, TKO Rules is production order 4. But in terms of release order, it was the third episode released. So yeah, we're going in terms of actual airing dates here, because that's what the website has them in, and that's what I'm going by, because I don't want to look up the titles. You know what I mean? I don't want to look up the titles and be spoiled to anything. So yeah, I'm very excited to see more. I did want to let you guys know about that, just in case there was confusion on anything. I don't know like how much of things are out of order in that regard, but yeah, just wanted to make that clear on how this was going to be done here. So yeah, that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.